People who don't want kids, who do you plan to leave everything to when you die? Ultimate life hack, die in debt. Creditors can sell my teeth when I'm dead. My father-in-law was the most generous guy I'd ever met. Showered his kids and grandkids with gifts. When he died he had $100,000 in debt and the card companies had to eat it. I thought it was a brilliant piece of estate planning. My mom did this a couple years ago. She passed away with assisted suicide and got rid of every asset she had before she died. She held a grudge against companies and people like it was no one's business. About a decade before her death she was charged a late fee on a credit card payment that she knew she mailed in on time. When she passed she left them with over $50,000 worth of debt. Funny enough, she bought her casket from Costco and put it on their city card. To make sure we got our rewards money, she paid that card off the day before she died. She said Costco had always treated her kindly and with fairness. Can you return a used casket to Costco? Imagine the scene. Returning a casket? What's the reason? Oh, she wasn't fully happy with the fit. What's the reason? Well, it seems she doesn't need it after all. This bed is terribly uncomfortable. I don't have a Costco, so I'm still stuck on you can buy a fucking casket at Costco. I never met your mom, but she has forever secured my admiration and respect. Bravo. Cue gangsta riff. Love this. By the way, they do have a claim against other inherited assets. So if you die with $500,000 in credit card debt and a house worth $500,000, they do get to take the house. Sell your house, hit the retirement home, take out tons of debt, use the house money as collateral, and then secretly spend everything. When my mom died she had a couple toiletries and a handful of Walmart nightgowns. She made sure there was absolutely nothing left. In terms of the house we sold it about a decade prior, when her health had started to turn. She used that money to travel and enjoy experiences since she knew her time was coming to an end. She was in her 80s when she passed, so a feisty old lady. You're lucky. Mine gave everything to charity. At least that was what the email said their name was. If you can manage this, it's a very good strategy even for people with kids. The key is to try to gift things early so that it's all way too messy for the creditors to assert fraudulent conveyance. Commercial creditors and the taxman are not likely to have interest in going after anything that isn't extremely easy to dispose of, e.g. cash. Securities, real estate, vehicles. Vacations could be an option. People do retire on cruise ships. I still have never been on one. It looks like fun, but wait to people why. I saw a documentary about this. There was one guy who had been doing it for years, but the crew was wishing he would stop because the ship really couldn't accommodate his health needs any longer.
Aww.
Now I feel like floating assisted living should be an option. Sign me up. Now we wait to see which one of us has a rich kid that's willing to invest. Or even if you do have things/money, place them in a trust or sign over early. Animals, pets, etc. Going through my mom's stuff after she died, her most interesting possessions were a stack of, like 50, elite casino membership cards. And a stack of letters from credit card companies, at first threatening, and then begging her to pay some of what she owed. One creditor found me and started demanding I take responsibility for her obligations. I laughed at him and hung up. I used to work in credit card customer service and a caller was asking for a payment arrangement for her deceased mom's credit card. I was like, huh, credit card debt doesn't survive the deceased. She was like, what? So I repeated it and she said collections told her she had to pay it. I was like, ma'am, I can't tell you what you do or don't need to do. That would be something to talk to your attorney about. I'm just saying credit card debt doesn't survive the deceased. She got it that time. I hope she's doing okay. You're an angel. Absolutely God sent. Note, not a lawyer or accountant, just a layman. This is not professional advice. Debts including credit cards do survive the decedent. Namely, it becomes the responsibility of the decedent's estate. The estate must pay back any and all debts to the extent that assets left to the estate allows, and this needs to happen before the estate's assets are distributed, inherited, to survivors as applicable. The executors of the estate are legally obliged to make sure this happens properly. So the daughter you mentioned would have no obligation to pay her mom's debt herself. However, her mom's estate does have that obligation, and if the daughter is the estate's executor then she has a legal duty to see that the debt is paid back from the estate's assets properly. Same here, but with husband's mom. She had bankrupted a few years before passing, and after I had finished the discussion with the manager at the credit card company about how idiotic it was of his company to grant credit to a recent bankrupt, HR apologized for bothering me. You should transfer other people's debt to you so when you die, you free them and they can live normal lives again. Dude, at work did this. Trade in for new car every couple years. Kept refinancing his house, spent the money on whores. Left the earth owing a bazillion. It's only make-believe money anyway. Same here, I won't remarry, I have no kids. My last month is gonna be lit. This is my plan. And my creditors won't make anything off my filling free teeth. You get to become that distant mysterious relative whose wealth some kid inherited, like in the movies. That'd be cool actually, maybe I should try to find someone like that in my family tree. I've always hoped that would happen in my family. But like, as the recipient. It sort of did though. My mother and aunt got like $14,000 each from their mother's sister, who lived in another country and who they'd only ever spoken to on the phone occasionally. Never met face to face. That was in the early 90s, so $14,000 back then was pretty significant. This will be me leaving everything to my nephew. He will inherit millions from the weird distant aunt he forgot about. Hey, it's me, your nephew Eyes. My buddy's 11-year-old is going to be shocked when she inherits my 2 houses in 35 years. She's really the only kid in my life. Y'all can loot my corpse. I literally don't care who takes what. The white PS5 controller doesn't hold a charge anymore though. Edit. This post has attracted a lot of attention about PS5 controller batteries. I'm on my second controller in 3.5 years, so I didn't think it was a big deal, but I would definitely recommend turning off the haptic feedback and the pressure triggers to save your battery because those features will drain the hell out of the battery. If you really want to conserve it, you can also turn off the speaker, mic, LED lights. But I don't think those drain it nearly as much. I know, I told my son to stash me in a freezer and keep cashing my SS checks. He said, "Ew." No, he'll rethink it when he sees how much more earning power he could have. My dad moved to a colder place. Colder place Eyes, it wasn't the freezer, right? Right? Ha! My parents are still alive and generally well, and telling me how to live my old-ass life. And luckily, I don't need their money, much less their social security. I should have written, commenter's kid will just say, my dad moved to a colder place. Is this a common problem with PS5 controllers? Hung out at my friend's place and they had 3 controllers, and not a single one lasted more than 5 minutes. This, like I give a flying fuck what happens to my possessions or body after I'm gone, rolling on the floor laughing. My brother a plan in place that if he die, his estate will try and buy up as much medical debt as it can for pennies on the dollar and grant forgiveness to everyone whose debt it purchased. Wait, you can do that? Lots of people should do that. I mean, now that I think about it, that's literally what debt collectors do. But you could just collect debt, just to forgive it at an insane discount. I'm gonna do this when I'm rich. That's beautiful. If he die, your brother has a really good outlook on his life. If I have anything to leave, my spouse, my siblings hypothetical kids, and meaningful charities. Yeah. My niece and nephew can inherit the $35 and McDonald's gift card I have in my name. I won't have anything to leave, but if I did, I'd choose a charity. I work in the nonprofit industry. Fun fact, childless couples are some of the biggest and most consistent donors, and especially when it comes to bequests, donations given through a will or estate after death. While these people don't always leave a legacy in a child, they often do in the communities they live in. Edit, clarity, spelling. I had a resident who passed a few years ago. He left a few million to the Humane Society, a local food bank, and a homeless shelter. He and I were very close at the end of his life, and had a lot of talks about being child-free from the perspective of 2 very different stages in life. He always said he wanted the world a little better for having known him, and while the people who benefited from his estate might not know him personally, I like to think he accomplished that. As a child-free person who plans to leave a lot of money to charity, this is wonderful to read. What a lovely way to put it. I'd go with a young friend, or a friend's kid. I won't leave much, if anything, but even a relatively small inheritance can make a huge impact when you're young and broke. Just throwing this out there though, please don't gift a huge lump sum to an 18-year-old kid. Put it in a trust. Have specific things they can withdraw it to use it for, like rent, down payment on car or house, college, etc. Fair point. I was picturing more like the inheritance I got, a beater car, a bag of old tools, and enough money to cover the deposit on a cheap apartment. Same. I don't have any close family with kids, all my siblings and cousins are child-free. So, if I don't get a chance to spend everything, I'm going to do a little good in the world and leave what I have to charity. I had a vasectomy done last year precisely because I didn't want any kids whatsoever. However, when I got home from the hospital after the operation, they were still there. Profile pic definitely earned. Dad, can you pick me up from this sleepover? The kids are jerks and the mom is touching me. No, why not? Because the kids are yours and the mom is your wife. Dad dash, son, I need to tell you your adopted son, what? you're not my real parents? Dad dash, no. We are your real parents. Your new parents will be here in 20 minutes. My wife and I decided we didn't want to have children. We're going to tell them tomorrow. I live with my brother. Neither of us are getting married or having kids, and there's no other family we're close to. We got a joint trust. He's the one with all the money. I don't actually have anything to speak of, so I let him choose where our estate/money would go. He chose NPR. I have no opinion. Don't care what happens after I die. I'm dead. Do whatever the fuck you want. Ride my corpse like a sled, hang me in effigy, burn me for winter heat, I don't care. I'll die in massive debt. So my creditors can fuck off. Okay, but what about your stuff? Can I have your record collection? The most expensive thing I own is an e-bike. Everything else is practically worthless. You can have mine. The natural parks of America. I have a lot now, but aim to die with zero. That's actually a good point. My answer was charity, but with no dependents to feel guilty about. I could spend my last years on a round-the-world cruise. I like the cut of your jib. I own 100 acres, and when I die I plan on giving it to the town where it is, provided they keep it as a park open to the public forever. Logistically, I haven't figured out the best way to do that, but I'm young, so have many years to do so, and plans may change. There are nonprofits that specialize in land conservation. Many in my neck of the woods create and maintain hiking paths and public gardens on these trusts. My dad did that with a bunch of land he inherited from his parents. In my area, land has been donated to the city, say 100 plus YRS ago, with a covenant on the land with certain specifics on how the land can be used. Such as the land cannot be used to run business, make a profit. It has to remain as park land for everyone's access and enjoyment. Land cannot be used for housing people long-term or temporary. This has allowed the lands to remain open as parks, with playgrounds, walking and hiking trails. Respecting the natural heritage of the land and indigenous species of the area, set up a bandstand for free concerts or movies to be screened, no tickets can be sold. Nieces and nephews. I am 60 years old and I don't have a will. I don't have any children and I've never been married. I haven't decided. It's a really difficult decision because if I choose charity, it'll just go to administrative fees. Maybe I'll run it into a human being that really needs it and I'll surprise them. If you feel compelled to go the charity route, choosing something more local can sometimes help with that. For example, instead of donating to a national or international organization, donating directly to a local one where you can see the operations and people doing the work. A local animal shelter rather than a national welfare org. Local charity health clinic, things like that. Additionally, you can sometimes donate with the stipulation that the money be directed toward a specific population, action, and so forth. So you could donate to a local animal shelter and specifically say, this money is to create a new outdoor dog area. I volunteer at an animal shelter, which is why this keeps coming up, but it could be anything. Something to consider. Someone donate to the hospital I worked at, and specified it be for the staff. We had a holiday party that year. So fun. Only work holiday party I've ever had. Yep. I volunteer with a small grassroots animal charity. We recently got a bequest that was a small part of a person's estate, but life-changing for us. The donor had visited one of our open houses and apparently found us compelling. We are so grateful. They didn't request recognition, but we're going to put up a plaque or something. As a social worker for 23 years, I do suggest you get a will because I saw over and over where there was a person without a will or children, dependents, where a distant niece would benefit rather than the neighbor lady or church that visited often made sure she had clothes, attended family meetings, bought snacks and other necessities for the resident, was closer than niece who didn't return calls, etc. Get a will for clarification. Also, if you don't leave it to anyone and there are no clear heirs, you open the potential for escheatment by the state. Some people might be okay with that, but I'd rather at least help out someone or something I know or care about. There are many nonprofits that don't have administrative overhead, or very little. You can also specify how such a donation would be used. And it's important to remember that salaries are not a wasteful use of funds. Nonprofit staff deserve to earn a paycheck too. As someone who used to work in nonprofit consulting, I'd encourage you to think about administrative fee in a different way. Nonprofits always compete with private industry for the talent. Without a competitive salary, these nonprofits simply cannot attract competent candidates. Administrative fee doesn't mean your money has gone to waste. Instead, you're rewarding the people who are doing good. It's understandable why donors would want their money to go to the mission directly, but I'd argue, nonprofits are still businesses through and through. They still need to pay bills to keep the lights on. So administrative isn't inherently bad, it's still supporting the mission in a very impactful way. Edit, just to add. Even if donors restrict their donations for certain purposes, most nonprofits didn't really set aside the money in a locked bank account per se. They will still use your money to pay staff, etc. They only show the usage of the funds on the financials. Charity. And if I know when death is coming, I'll take out as big of a loan as I possibly can and donate it all anonymously. My 3 best friends. I had the will drawn earlier this year. In fact, I got listed in my best mate's will, on the proviso I throw the most epic wake for her. I'm thinking of hiring a band and going to a vineyard. She's not even dead yet. Planned Parenthood. They took care of me when I had nothing. I plan to pay them back in spades. I'm going to set up a scholarship fund at my university for young women studying in my discipline. This is awesome. I'd do the same, but my alma mater would be like, thanks for the $38, I guess. The nieces and nephews and goddaughters who I spoil rotten can loot my belongings. The money is going to libraries and museums. The Lakota Sioux tribe. Animal organizations. Don't particularly know and don't particularly care. I plan to leave it to my spouse if I have one. Really wanted to leave it to my mother, but she has a toxic relationship with my narc sister and would just give everything to her. If I have no spouse, I am going to divide it and give random things to each person who is special to me in some way. Bold of you to assume I have anything to leave behind. Animal shelters. I have younger cousins who have my blessing to plunder my crap. All my savings go to dogs in need. Don't care for the rest. I originally set things up for everything to go to my siblings. However, several years of my own therapy and coming out of denial about the patterns of family dysfunction, I recently changed everything to go to my best friend, his partner and her daughter. They have been more of my family over the last 15+ years than my own family. I also have a pet trust set up for my dog. I'm going to leave everything to the kids I didn't want. I don't plan to die. I love that you think I have things to leave people. I don't really have any family. I suppose my friends will have their pick. I don't have a spouse and I do have a degenerative disease, so I imagine by the time it starts to affect daily function I'll have to get rid of the majority of my worldly assets. Whatever is left I hope goes to people that need or want them. I'd hate to have caused a sudden increase in a landfill or contribute to that. Make a Kahoot about your life that your friends have to play after you die. Whoever wins gets all your things. My cat's ashes will either be buried or cremated with me. Everything else, just sell it. But please make sure the Simpsons, Godzilla, and Pokemon stuff go to collectors. Do not throw those away. I'm leaving weird clues for some distant relative to follow. They'll lead to $2.86. Assuming I have any money left, PBS. That shit needs to be funded. Give it to the cat. All of it. Yes. Even the car. So I've weirdly looked into this for mine and it's get Tiger King level crazy. So you can't will to a pet, but can set up a pet trust fund and executors of said fund. The bats hit crazy examples. People pocketing the money and replacing with a shelter pets of similar look. There's pet trust fund DNA testing, thus cloning pets to keep the money coming in. Couple docs about it. Then there's pet trust conservatorship. So one party cares for the pet but another party distributes the funds. Whole rabbit hole of reading if anyone's bored. My friends' kids can have my stuff if they want it. I don't think I'll make a fortune, but whatever I have, I plan to leave it to animal shelters. I've left everything to my sister in my will. I figure that will make it even if she has to sort out my funeral. But if I know I'm dying ahead of time, I'll probably donate some to charity, maybe offer certain possessions to friends and family. Depends what my financial state is and how long I'll spend dying. I don't have shit. I want it sold off and the profits donated to LGBTQ charities, MS Society, PBS, and nieces and nephews unless they grow up to be assholes. My nieces and nephews. Hopefully the cats will understand. Add a condition that they must adopt the cats if they want the money and apply at least 10 daily scritches per cat. Die with Zero is a good book on this subject, but I think dying with massive debt to pass on to nobody? Leave what? We might not even have a country in 10 years, let alone anything worth passing down. Fuck it, I'll donate it or give it to a friend who's alive. Who cares at that point? My mates. I don't care what happens to my junk when I'm dead. When I am dead, I don't care where my belongs go to. No one. Why do I need to leave my stuff to anyone? I don't imagine I'll have anything to leave. That's part of why I don't plan on having kids. I don't see things getting much better for me and I'm poor as it is, only getting by with my mother's support. I'll get on my own feet soon, then I will float just above water until I die. I won't be in the position to look after a kid. If I die first, my sister can have anything of value that was mine. If I don't, then I don't care what happens to my stuff. I don't imagine I'll have much of it anyway. Mighty bold of you to assume I have anything to leave. To whoever finds me first. You think I have things worth passing on? There's a children's hospice I donate to regularly. I think they deserve my worldly goods more than some people in my life. Assuming I have any money left, and my partner outlives me, it would all go to her. In the event that I outlive her, it would be split 50-50 between my 2 younger siblings. I don't want kids. Oh shit, I already have kids. Taking it with me. I don't care. I'll be dead. I have no family to leave anything to. Nephews and nieces. My aunt left me a bit and it really helped. I'm spending my time alive fostering and caring for animals. When I die, my money will all go to my local animal shelter. My husband and I both have wills. Everything is left to both national and local cat charities. My mother's final attempt to get me to have children. But who will you leave your house to? I don't care. I'll be dead. My family and my cats and I want money to go to my local animal shelters. Donating. Doctors Without Borders. My husband or charities if he goes before I do. Donate it to charity. Sisters and nephews. One of my friends. It's going to be like $36, so not overly worried about it. A hot bartender. My niece and nephews. Read Die with Nothing. I'm an only child and my brother-in-law and his kids are terrible. We're leaving everything to my best friend's kids. People who don't want children. You're just smarter. It doesn't matter who gets everything in the end. I'm having a party at my wake. Everyone is getting a taser. Last person standing gets all my shit. Leave everything rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Whoever wants my debts can have them. Frankly, I don't plan on dying with a ton to my name. What's the point in hoarding if I don't plan on having children? There's no reason to hold on to things for passing on. Essentially, I'll live the fuck out of my life and die happy. Leave fucking what to who. Die in debt. My sister and her husband don't have any living children. As of now, their plan is leaving everything to my 2 kids.
Yay!
Whoever wants it, it'll be dead. What will I care? Bold of you to assume I'll have anything other than debt to leave behind. I endowed a scholarship to my university. I also have several charities I support. Who gives a shit? I'm dead. Serious answer, either my extended family or some kind of charitable donation. Probably a bit of both. Bold of you to assume they'll have anything of value. I'm the youngest sibling, so my nieces, nephews, and charities. Maybe a cat shelter. First to kill me may take what they please. What everything? Bold of you to assume that I have anything. Pretty bold of you to assume that I have something to leave. Leaving everything to charities / not-for-profit organizations doing work in areas I care about. Likely a scholarship fund to help send people to post-secondary education. Maybe some to a cancer research fund, maybe even a non-profit for child-free people in nursing homes. I've toyed with the idea of starting a volunteer program like Daughter for a Day, where people can go visit child-free people in nursing homes. There will be more and more child-free people in homes as I get older, but that's just something going on in the back of my mind. I'm in a very fortunate situation where unless the world goes tits up, I'll be receiving some inheritance money and I feel good about being able to do something awesome with it vs just passing it on to my nephews. They will get a large inheritance anyway from my sister. I don't have kids. And I'm divorced. But if I continue to not have kids, and if I never remarry, I'll probably leave everything to a former student of mine. I'm an assistant principal now. Would be a nice surprise for them, I think. I will email the Nigerian prince with the good news. My 2 nieces and my godson. None of the responsibilities, all of the freedom to build generational wealth. I have never regretted not wanting to bear or raise children. I'm going to spend it all. Come loot my corpse. IDC. Most of the people who have and don't have kids won't have anything of real value to leave behind. Most of the people that do have something valuable to leave behind also have children. Animal shelter. I aim to spend it all before death. It's real cute of you to think I have anything to leave. Who cares, I'll be dead. My sister's kids are my beneficiaries. I don't own any assets, only have cash. Nephew and godkids. Why y'all so concerned about us with no kids? My goddaughter has no idea she's in line for a nice house and my respectable nest egg. 72F. Child-free by choice. AM leaving my money to great nieces / nephews. Animal rescue, specific charities and special friends. No worries, all planned out. Nieces and nephews. Shadow cats. They are a non-profit cat shelter here in Texas that takes in permanently disabled or FELV and FIV kitties or cats with behavioral issues that wouldn't be adopted. I'm in the process of working with a lawyer to give them my entire estate and assets when I die. Bold of you to assume I will have anything to leave behind. A lady I worked with, who isn't Native American, said she's planning on leaving all of her possessions to one of the local tribes. I tried to tell her they're not interested in her old junk, but she didn't listen. How do you know she just has old junk? Kinda presumptuous, don't you think? My family is huge. It all has somewhere to go without me having heirs. My nieces and nephews. My 9 nephews and 1 niece. That's plenty of kids to leave stuff to. Whatever I have is going to my youngest brother. But it's not much. I'm 67. Started giving things to my nieces, jewelry, vintage clothes, etc., so they can enjoy them now. My house either them. If they want it, sell or keep, won't care by then, or the Humane Society or other animal rescue. Some to our nephew. Some to our church, some to other good causes. If I even have anything, I'll leave it to a friend or a random poor person. I have like a dozen little cousins. I'm really close to 6 of them too. Whoever's left. I'm aiming for the triple digits. If I have literally no one, I'm donating the money to my local library and animal shelters. I don't know and I don't care. I don't care. I'll be dead. I figure the dishwasher box I'll be living in can be recycled and the shopping cart returned to Kroger's. I'll be dead. I won't care and won't know. It's 2025. If you're 40 or younger, 70% of you won't have retirements or own anything. Sad but true. Bold of you to assume I'll have anything to leave. You're assuming there's anything left. Who cares? I'll be dead. Throw me in the ditch with all my stuff. Honestly, I do not care. I'll be dead. My cat. And it'll be someone's job to wait on them hand and foot. Bold of OP to assume I'll have anything of value left that I haven't sold to stem the tide of ever-rising prices towards the end of my life. My nephews. I'm going to try and spend all my money before I die, and whatever is left gets donated to a horse sanctuary. Not gonna lie, I have no idea. I'm only 26, so I hope I have enough time to figure it out before I die. I probably won't have much of value, but I worry about all the various things I collect. I would want them to go to someone who actually wants them and will treasure them, so I don't want them to go to a thrift store, otherwise they'll be thrown away if they don't sell or if they're deemed not in good enough condition. My loved ones, like my wife, friends and family, y'all forget kids aren't the only family member. The next generation of family members. Charity, and either donate my body to science or become a tree. I plan on selling everything I own and then hookers and co*** ain till I die. We plan on having adventures until we can't. We won't have much money left to worry about. ASPCA and local animal shelters. Considering starting some sort of grant or scholarship program for the music program at my old high school. Plenty of poor kids needing instruments or reeds or cork grease, valve oil, drumsticks, whatever. I wonder if the Reaper takes tips. Whatever is left is getting donated to my favorite animal rescue shelters. My husband, then after him my little sister. She'll be responsible and take care of our special needs nephew. I'm already a minimalist, so I'll likely have few possessions to dispose of. After completing my career and enjoying my retirement, I'm leaving whatever dollar is left to no-kill animal shelters. I'm 54 years old, so this is getting closer to reality. My partner has a very specific list of where my tiny bits of property will go. I know my putrid family will come knocking when they see my obituary. Lucky everyone is getting something, from a penny to a piece of dog poop, so no one can contest. The biggest argument will come from my massive rare book collection, but I'd rather he sell it or donate it than any of those CNTS get a scrap. Most likely my best friend's kids. I have my friend's 3-year-old twins as the beneficiaries to my 401k. I'm probably not living long enough to see retirement, and the $225k I have in there will at least put them through college. I want it to go to an education and startup fund for future generations, but I'm sure it'll be split up and squandered. My sister. Bold of you to assume I have anything to leave. Niece and nephews? Although, it's not like I have much to leave for them, but it would be good if they have something from their cool aunt to keep. I'm leaving mine in a growth fund for scholarships at the local community college, for majors in the field I studied and worked in, another fund for helping people pay to have their pets cremated and the ashes returned, it's stupid expensive, and a final amount for animal foster orgs. Since some of it was inherited, my mom asked that some be left in a fund for a school she worked at. My goddaughter, who I love very much, gets it all. Dude, I'm spending it all. I have some younger kids in my family I care about and they can have it all. Donate towards a hospital wing of the hospital that did most of my dad's treatments. More if they manage to save him. If I have anything left, going to my nephews/niece. Up to them to decide who's gonna be my favorite. Maybe a close friend or my nephews and nieces. I don't want kids, but I have close family. I'm disabled. I'm not allowed to have any real savings and I'm in debt. What will I even have to leave anyone? My nephew. Everything will go to him and that's all that matters. I'd leave it to living close friends who need it. Dog and cat rescues and shelters. Our wills have all the trust details for everything to be donated to our favorite rescues and shelters. Siblings, nieces, and nephew. Going spend it all while I'm here. Bold of you to assume I will have anything left when I die. Does our generation even have anything? Is that why we don't have kids? I've never thought about that. I guess I'll figure that out when I have assets. I'll be dead, so I don't really care all that much. Leaving to my cats. My husband can fend for himself. Who says I have anything worth leaving? If I have money then it can go to a charity, possessions can go wherever. What do I care? I'm dead. Female sign I'm not using them anymore. Debt. The problem is people believing their shit is worth anything while they are still alive. This is why my Jen is currently stuck cleaning out houses filled to the rafters with Silent Jen and Boomer collectible junk. Either the parents have died or they have to sell the house to pay for a nursing home. I mean heirlooms are one thing but collectible plates from the 80s, beanie babies and crystal knickknacks are not. When I die I'm leaving my estate to ocean conservation and animal charities. I plan to spend as much of my money as possible, but what is left over I am donating to a charity that helps rescue and provide medical care to street dogs in a place that I vacation frequently. I will leave no money behind. No one. I'm gonna spend and give away whatever I've got left once I get near the end. I have never actually considered this. I have always just assumed that I'll end up having to spend all my money on healthcare and not have anything to leave behind. Don't give a flying fig what happens after I've shuffled off this mortal coil. Leaving all my money to the local animal shelters, and some for my sister. Planned Parenthood. Not my problem, but I would appreciate if literally anyone but my stepmom got them. I would also appreciate building me a pyramid with whatever is left. Why leave anything, or everything, to anyone? You earned it. They didn't. Spend it. It's only money. Leave it to St. Jude Hospital or otherwise. Where it's gonna ultimately end up anyway, the dump. I don't care, I'll be dead. To my partner or my closest friends. I don't really care what happens to my money after I die, but it'd be nice to leave the people that chose to stick around something when I go. My younger brother. Probably leaving it to a friend's kid who thinks I'm weird but cool. My nieces and nephews will get my estate when I pass away.